Listen closely because most guys are out here hugging like they're greeting their grandma at a Sunday dinner, and that's exactly why they're staying stuck in the friend zone. You think a hug is just a polite gesture? No, bro. A hug is high-stakes psychological warfare. It is the single most powerful physical bridge you can build between just a guy she knows and the man she can't stop thinking about. If you're tired of your energy being ignored, if you're tired of feeling like just another face in her crowded DMs, then you need to wake up to the biological cheat codes I'm about to give you. We're talking about triggering her subconscious, flooding her brain with chemicals she can't control, and making her feel a level of safety and desire that'll have her replay that one moment in her head for the next 72 hours. This isn't about being creepy. It's about being an alpha who understands the feminine soul. If you're ready to stop playing small and start dominating your dating life, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now, because we're diving into the deep end of female psychology that nobody else has the guts to tell you. Most dudes are terrified of intimacy, so they do that awkward pat-on-the-back hug that lasts 3 seconds. That is a total vibe killer. If you want her to actually feel you, you have to break the 3-second barrier. Science doesn't lie, man. When you hold a woman for at least 20 seconds, her body starts dumping oxytocin, the bonding hormone, directly into her bloodstream. This isn't just some hippie talk. This is a biological fact. In those 20 seconds, her cortisol levels drop, her heart rate syncs up with yours, and her brain literally starts labeling you as a safe harbor. But here's the kicker. You don't just stand there like a statue. You have to breathe. Deep, slow, masculine breaths. When she feels your chest expanding and contracting against hers, it forces her nervous system to mirror yours. She'll start to relax, her muscles will go limp, and she'll literally melt into your frame. That moment right there? That's when you've won. You've bypassed her logical brain and gone straight for her lizard brain. She'll walk away from that hug feeling a connection she can't explain to her friends. But it's really just you being smart enough to let the biology do the work for you. Don't rush the exit. Let the silence be heavy. Let her be the one to pull away first, because that shows you're comfortable in your own skin and you aren't desperate for her approval. Women have a sense of smell that is low-key, a superpower compared to ours. When you pull her in for that hug, your head needs to be positioned strategically. Don't go face-to-face like you're about to headbutt her. Slide your head to the side so your nose is near the nape of her neck or right by her ear. You're not sniffing her like a weirdo. You're letting your natural pheromones and your cologne hit her sensory receptors at point-blank range. There is a specific spot right behind the ear that is insanely sensitive. Just by having your breath warm that area slightly while you hold her, you're sending electric shocks down her spine. This creates a scent anchor. Long after you're gone, if she smells a whiff of your cologne or even a similar masculine scent, her brain is going to snap back to that specific hug. It's a psychological trigger that keeps you rent-free in her head. You want to smell like a man, clean, woodsy, or spicy, not like a high school locker room. When she's tucked in there, and she smells that alpha scent, her subconscious registers you as a high-value provider and protector. It's an intoxicating mix of emotional safety and raw, primal attraction. This is how you make. Where you put your hands tells her exactly who you are in her life. If you put your hands high on her shoulders, you're just a buddy. You might as well call her chief and ask for a beer. If you want her to see you as a romantic interest, your hands need to drop. We're talking about the lower back, just above the waist. This is a high intimacy zone. By placing your hands there and pulling her slightly closer, you're asserting dominance in a way that feels protective, not aggressive. It's the alpha hold. When your hands are on her lower back, it forces her hips to align with yours. This creates a subtle, subconscious sexual tension that is undeniable. One hand should be firm on the small of her back, and the other can stay slightly higher or even wrap around her neck gently if the vibe is right. Use a squeeze and release technique. Every few seconds, give her a tiny, firm squeeze, just enough to let her know you've got her. It signals that you are strong, you are present, and you are in control of the interaction. Women are biologically wired to be attracted to men who can lead and protect, and this specific hand placement communicates "I've got you" more than 1,000 "I love you" texts ever could. Her want you without saying a single word. You're playing with her senses, and trust me, she's going to love every second of it. The most important part of the hug isn't the beginning, it's the ending. Most guys ruin the whole vibe by jumping back like they just touched a hot stove. That shows insecurity. You need to master the slow release. When the hug is over, don't just drop your arms. Let your hands slide slowly down her arms as you back away, maintaining physical contact for as long as possible. This creates a lingering effect that builds massive tension. As you pull back, stay within her personal space. Don't move more than a foot away. This is where you drop the hammer. Look her dead in the eyes. No cap. This is the part that makes her weak. Give her a look that says you know exactly what's going on, a slight, knowing smirk. Hold that eye contact for 3 seconds of pure silence. It's going to feel like an eternity to you, but to her, it's going to feel like a movie scene. In those 3 seconds, she's wondering if you're going to kiss her, if you're going to say something deep, or if you're just that damn confident. That unresolved tension is the fuel that drives her desire. She'll leave that interaction wondering about you, questioning your next move, and craving that feeling again. You've just successfully exposed her psychology and used it to become the most interesting man in her world. If you think a hug is just about the arms, you're playing the game on easy mode and losing. To really mess with her head, in the best way possible, you need to understand heartbeat synchronization. When you pull her in, you aren't just touching skin, your chest is pressing against hers. If you are calm, centered, and breathing like a king, her body will automatically start to mirror yours. This is a scientific phenomenon called physiological mirroring. If your heart rate is steady and slow, it forces her nervous system to downshift. She'll feel a wave of calm wash over her that she can't explain. She'll literally feel like the world outside that hug doesn't exist. You want her to associate your physical presence with the death of her anxiety. In a world that is loud and chaotic, the man who can provide a biological reset becomes addictive. This isn't just a hug anymore, it's a drug. You're becoming her peace, and once a woman finds peace in a man's arms, she will chase that feeling until the end of time. Don't be jittery, don't be nervous. If your heart is racing because you're scared, she'll feel it, and it'll trigger her flight response. Stand tall, breathe from your gut, and let your heartbeat tell her that you are the rock she's been looking for. The ears are a direct line to the emotional centers of a woman's brain. While you're in that deep 20-second hold, you have a golden opportunity to use the subvocal whisper. You don't need to say a whole poem. In fact, saying too much kills the vibe. You want to lean in, just barely grazing her ear with your lips, not kissing, just the heat of your breath, and mutter something low frequency. Use your chest voice. A simple, "You smell incredible," or "I've got you," delivered in a deep, gravelly tone, will send literal chills down her spine. The low frequency of a man's voice is biologically calibrated to trigger arousal and comfort in women. It's primal, man. By whispering something short and powerful, you're claiming her headspace. You're moving from a physical interaction to a psychological one. This creates an auditory anchor. Every time she hears your voice later, even over the phone, let's get technical with the touch. While your hands are on her lower back, that high-intensity zone we talked about, you're going to use your thumbs. Most guys just keep their hands flat like they're glued there. That's boring. You want to use your thumbs to make small, slow, circular motions or a light stroke up the spine. The spine is packed with nerve endings that lead straight to the brain's pleasure centers. By adding this tiny bit of movement, you're keeping her sensory receptors firing. It prevents the hug from becoming static. You're keeping her present in the moment. This subtle movement communicates that you are highly attuned to her body. It shows a level of sensory dominance that most men lack. It tells her you know exactly how to handle a woman. This isn't about being touchy-feely. It's about being calculated. It creates a tactile memory that is much harder for her brain to erase than just a standard hold. She'll walk away feeling like you touched her soul, when really, you just understood the map of her nervous system. Her brain will subconsciously link that sound to the intense physical warmth of that hug. It's a low-key move that has high-key results. One of the biggest mistakes guys make is trying to fill the silence during or immediately after a hug. They get uncomfortable with the tension and start cracking jokes or asking, "How was your day?" Stop that. Silence is your best friend. Silence creates a psychological vacuum. When you hold her in total silence, it forces her to confront her own feelings for you. It creates a space where her thoughts can run wild. She starts wondering what you're thinking, and that curiosity is the seedling of obsession. You want to be a mystery she needs to solve. By maintaining silence, you are projecting massive amounts of frame. You are comfortable in the stillness. It shows you don't need to entertain her to keep her interested. This silence makes the hug feel more weighted and significant. It transforms a casual goodbye into a cinematic moment. Let the tension build until it's almost unbearable. And then, and only then, do you move to the release. The man who can command silence can command a woman's heart. Your body language during the hug is just as important as your arms. You need to maintain a dominant frame. Don't lean into her like you're asking for a favor. Your feet should be shoulder-width apart, solid as a mountain. You are the pillar. She is the one leaning on you. Even if she's tall, don't slouch. Keep your posture upright. This creates a protective canopy effect. When she feels your solid, unmoving frame, her subconscious registers you as a high-value male who can provide security. It's an evolutionary trigger. If you're leaning forward or looking off balance, the hug feels weak. But when you stand your ground and pull her into your space, you are non-verbally stating that you are the leader in this dynamic. This is the difference between a nice guy hug and an alpha hug. You aren't just holding her. You are enveloping her. You are defining the space around her. That sense of being contained by a strong man is one of the most powerful aphrodisiacs for the female psyche. If the vibe is already strong and you want to take it to the next level, move one of your hands from her back to the nape of her neck, right where her hair meets her skin. This is an incredibly intimate and possessive gesture, in a good way. It signals a high level of comfort and dominance. By gently cupping the back of her head or running your fingers through the hair at the base of her skull, you are triggering a deep, primal relaxation response. It's where we used to be carried as infants, and it carries a heavy psychological weight of safety and belonging. It also allows you to control the tilt of her head slightly, which heightens the tension for a potential kiss or a deep look. This move is high risk, high reward. Use it when you know she's already feeling the vibe. It transitions the hug from affectionate to intense. It's a move that says, I have you. And for a woman who spends her whole day having to be strong and independent, being held like that is a massive relief. Here is where the dark psychology comes in. You need to be the one to initiate the pull away, but you do it right as the tension hits its peak. Don't wait until the hug gets stale. Pull back just a few inches while her eyes are still closed and she's still basking in the oxytocin. This creates a Zeigarnik effect, the brain's tendency to remember uncompleted tasks better than completed ones. By cutting the hug off just a second before she's ready, you leave her brain hungry for more. She'll subconsciously feel like something is unfinished. This is how you get her to text you later saying, I miss your hugs. You are literally training her brain to crave your touch by giving it in high-quality bursts and then withdrawing it. It's the same principle as a cliffhanger in a TV show. You're the director of the scene, and you just ended the episode on a to be continued. This keeps her chasing the high you just gave her. Once you've done the slow release and you're standing in that close proximity bubble, don't just look at her eyes. Use the triangle gaze. Look at her left eye, then her right eye, then down at her lips, and then back to her eyes. Do this slowly. This is a universal, I'm thinking about kissing you signal. Even if you don't kiss her, the fact that you looked like you were going to is enough to send her heart rate through the roof. It builds a massive amount of anticipation tension. Anticipation is often more powerful than the act itself. By looking at her lips and then meeting her eyes with a confident smirk, you're telling her that you're a man of desire, but also a man of restraint. You're showing her that you have the power to take what you want, but you're choosing to let the tension simmer. This makes her want to bridge that gap herself. It puts her in the pursuer mindset. You have to adapt your hug based on the context. A greeting hug should be shorter but more intense. It's a statement hug. It sets the tone for the rest of the night. It says, I'm here, I'm dominant, and I'm glad to see you. A goodbye hug is where you go for the long, 20-second, emotional deep dive. This is the one she's going to take home with her. This is the one she's going to think about while she's lying in bed. If you flip these, you ruin the flow. Don't go for a 30-second hug as soon as you meet her at the bar. It's too much too soon. But at the end of the night, when the walls are down and the emotions are high, that is when you apply the full biological overload strategy. Match your intensity to the arc of the interaction. Be the man who knows exactly when to lean in and when to hold back. Look, at the end of the day, all these techniques serve one purpose: to show her that you are a man who is present, masculine, and deeply aware of her needs as a woman. Most guys are checked out. They're looking at their phones, they're thinking about work, or they're just trying to get into her pants. When you give a woman a hug using these 15 parts, you are giving her something rare: true masculine presence. You are saying, I see you, I have you, and I am in control. That is the most attractive thing on the planet. Don't use these moves to manipulate. Use them to connect on a level she's never experienced before. Be the man who stands out by how he holds her, not just by what he says. Go out there, apply these triggers, and watch how her energy towards you shifts from interested to obsessed. You've got the tools. Now go build the connection.